Hi! After this video, the learner will be able to explain the stage of theoretical process, appreciate the role of collaboration in theoretical production, and will be able to demonstrate basic acting techniques during rehearsal.
Good day, everyone. Today, I will be discussing the theoretical process, which explain the step-by-step journey of creating a theoretical performance from preparation to the final rehearsal. First is the drama test, also known as the audition. This stage introduced theater-centered improvisational exercise. Its purpose is to assess the students' readiness, willingness, and ability to fully engage theater making. Through this audition, performers show their creativity, confidence, and potential to grow in the theatrical process. Second is the storyteller and playwright. In this stage, the basic structure of the story is developed. This includes the plot, characters, style of the play. The storyteller and the playwright are responsible for shaping a narrative and ensuring that the message of the story is clear and meaningful. Third on our process is the director, stage manager, and the performer. This stage focuses on transforming the written script into a live performance. The director the director guides the vision of the play. The stage manager ensures organization and discipline, and the performer bring the character to life. Teamwork and commitment are very important to keep the production organized, on schedule, and harmonious. Lastly, the technical rehearsal. This stage integrates acting, stage management, lighting, and sound effect into one smooth and unified performance. Technical rehearsal helps identify the mistakes, adjust timings, and ensure that all the elements work together to create a clear and engaging experience for the audience. After that is the dress rehearsal. This is the full preview of the show performed in front of internal audience such as classmates. The cast and crew perform as if they were in the actual show. This stage helps everyone learn how to respond of an audience and evaluate the readiness of the performers and the production team. Next is the final performance. This is the stage where everything that has been learned and practiced is finally executed in front of a live public audience. It is the culmination of all the hard work, rehearsal, and collaboration throughout the theatrical process. Lastly, is the final evaluation. In this stage, accurate records of the work and the entire process are maintained. Both individual and group performance are evaluated to reflect on strength, improvement, overall growth during the theater making process. In conclusion, this final stage ensures that the performance is polished, meaningful, and successful from rehearsal to evaluation. Okay. And our next topic is the audience criticism. Now, first on our list is the why the audience as an essential part of theatrical process. First would be the audience perception of stage, events, completeness, and creative process. A performer or a performance is not fully realized until it is seen and experienced by an audience. Their reaction give meaning and life of what happened on stage. Second, second of the reason is audience naturally form their own interpretation of the stage and event and their significance. Each audience member may understand the story differently based on their emotion, experience, and perspective, which makes theater a powerful and personal experience. Third would be the artists who create the performance work to evoke a desired audience response. Actors and directors and designer are carefully plan their performance to inspire emotions such as joy, sadness, excitement, or reflection. This connection between the performers and the audience makes theater unique and engaging. Second, watching a performance theater or watching a live theater performance is a very different from watching a film. In theater, the audience and performers shared the same space and moment, which makes the experience more personal and engaging. Although there are no strict rules on how to experience a theatrical performance, it becomes more interesting when the audience is willing to pay attention, concentrate, and actively use their imagination. The use of theatrical convention, especially unfamiliar ones, often requires the audience to imagine settings, actions, or meaning that are not shown realistically on stage. Directors try to guide the audience attention through lighting, movement, sound, but complete control over what the audience focus is impossible. Additionally, the size the size and configuration of the auditorium can affect how the audience responds to a performance. A smaller space can feel more intimate, while a large one can feel more formal or distant. Most theater are concerned with attracting audience. However, bringing in a new viewer are not always easy and can sometimes alienate existing patrons. Some theater receive funding to encourage Some theater receive funding to encourage racial or minority groups to attend performance, while others cater exclusively to a minority audience. There are also theater that challenge their audience by presenting unfamiliar or experimental form of theater, encouraging people to expand their appreciation of the art.
Attracting young audiences to theater. One important question in theater today is how can theatres attract young audience and people who don't normally go to theater? Theater is often seen as old-fashioned or difficult to understand. To address this, many theatres have introduced outreach and educational programs. This program brings theater into schools and communities, helping people understand that theater can be fun, relevant, meaningful. So far, this effort have met with some success, especially among young people. Next is the audience and critical perspective. Now, we ask, do we need a critical perspective to enjoy theater? The answer is not necessarily. People can enjoy theater simply by experiencing it. However, having a critical perspective allows us to better understand and talk about what we saw. There's a simple three-step process for responding into a theatrical performance. First is we have the experience. Second, we analyze that experience. And third, we communicate our response to others. This process helps audience express their thought more clearly. Third is the role of professional critic. A professional critic needs several things. First, a wide variety of theoretical experience. Second, an understanding how production are made, including acting, directing, and design. Critics usually write with a specific audience and purpose in mind, such as general public or a specialized audience like artists or academics. Some critics also see themselves as consumer or consumer guides, helping audience decide what performance to watch. A good criticism should be balanced, meaning It should discuss both the strength and the weaknesses of a production. Poor criticism may be unfair, judgmental, or even condescending, which can be create negative reaction. Fourth, the basic problem of criticism. Criticism focuses on three basic problems. First, understanding what were, what were the playwright or the director artist trying to do. Second, effectiveness. How well did they achieve their goals? And the third is the ultimate work. How valuable was the overall experience? To answer this question, critics may study the script, learn about the production team's goals, or watch the performance with an open mind, sometimes without any prior knowledge. Next, let's begin with the core qualities that critics should strive to embody. First is sensitivity. A critic must be sensitive to feelings, image, and ideas. This allows a deeper understanding and appreciation of the subject matter. Second, knowledgeable. It is essential for a critic to be well acquainted with the theatre of all periods and types. This broad exposure enhances their analytical perspective. Third is an open-mindedness or the willingness to explore the plays, their production. Third, third is an open-mindedness, willingness to explore plays and their production processes is a crucial. This curiosity fosters growth and insight. Fourth is tolerance. Tolerance of innovation is a vital as it encourages new ideas and creative expression. Fifth, self-awareness. Being aware of one's prejudice and values helps maintain objectivity and fairness in critique. Six is clarity. Articulating and expressing judgment clearly with conviction ensures that feedback is constructive and understandable. And lastly, courtesy. Lastly, courtesy remains fundamental in maintaining a respectful and professional discourse. In conclusion, these qualities sensitivity, knowledge, openness and tolerance and self awareness, clarity, and courtesy are essential for a critic to provide meaningful, fair, and constructive feedback. Cultivating this attribute will not only enhance critic effectiveness but also contribute positively to the art community.